Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We are going to get started soon, so if you can please put yourselves on mute, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's ready.
Okay, great. Well, hello and good evening, everyone. I hope you're staying warm and safe inside. We have moved our school board directors meeting to online this evening, so I just want to welcome everyone on Zoom, as well as those who might be watching the live stream. So I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors to order on Thursday, February 13th at 6:31 p.m. And now I would like to remind our community that the purpose of our board meetings is to conduct the business of the district first, and for everyone to learn about the district in a safe and productive manner. So we will now begin with community comments. Community comments are an opportunity for our community to share their ideas and opinions with the board. Input is welcome and valued. It is our duty to keep it safe and respectful for everyone, which includes our students, staff, and our community. This is not a time for discussion or debate. Letters to the board are always welcome, and each of us reads the input. Requests for information should always be requested as outlined in our policy KBA-AR. Any individual desiring to speak will have indicated their desire prior to the board meeting. An individual with a disability will be given an equal opportunity to participate in board meetings, and this may include someone speaking on their behalf if their disability or other medical need limits their ability to attend in person. Board policy also speaks to accommodations available. A speaker will be required to give their name, city of residence, and the group, if any, that is represented. If there are more patrons desiring to present comments than time allotted, the board chair, that's me, have the authority to reduce the presentation time for individual speakers or institute a prioritization process with first priority to students and city of residence. Speakers may offer objective criticisms of district operations and programs that are of a concern to them. The board is restricted from hearing and will not consider complaints regarding any individual district staff member or any person connected with the district. Comments that make a staff member identifiable to the public, even without their specific name, violate the policy. As an organization centered around youth and their positive development, all speakers will model respectful public comment and be mindful of civil discourse. And so now I know we have two folks who are signed up for public comment this evening. So I am not sure if Nate Sorensen is in the room or in the Zoom room.
It should
That's
be.
okay. So let's wait for Nate. Okay, I think I see him getting connected. So thanks everyone for the patience as we transition back to virtual meetings. And Nate, if you can hear us, just feel free to put yourself off mute and let us know when you're ready, and Donna can start the clock.
I think I'm ready.
Great. Okay, well, welcome, Nate. So please state your name, your city of residence, group, if you're part of any group or organization, and then the clock will start and you have 3 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So my name is Nate Sorensen, and I go to Adrian Nelson High School, and I am a part of Happy Valley as a city. Okay. think I'm
I'm
good.
Melody. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Um, I'm Melody, and I'm a part. I'm from New Urban High School, and I'm from Clackamas.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry, you two. So we only had Nate testify for this time. But so Nate, do you want to testify first and then have Melody? It's okay. Melody testify afterwards?
I really don't care. She can go first if she wants.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't think I think she might be for the youth equity.
Oh, okay. Melody, are you here for the community comments? Oh, we
Yeah,
can't hear you. Okay.
go ahead
Nate?
with Nate.
Okay, sorry about that, you all. So yes, Nate, why don't you start with your testimony? And I think Melody's here for the other part of the agenda for the youth equity.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
so first, I'd like to start my comments with the yonder pouches and how they've fallen under the sunk cost fallacy. Every morning, my principal, Mr. Harris, has stood out in the freezing cold weather by the yonder pouch magnets to check to make sure that everyone's got their yonder pouch. You might think, well, if it gets students off their phones, however, it does just the opposite. Before we received our pouches, a lot of students I know had a list of methods to either break into or even bypass the yonder pouch. They did this by putting old phones or even calculators into the pouches, which looks no different to people doing inspections. And if we can't do that, we end up bringing magnets into the school or even just banging the pouches on the ground, which, yes, does work. So now it's time to bring an actual solution onto the table. The problem arises when students are using their phones in class. So we should have an in-class solution. We should have our attendants be putting our phone in a wall-mounted cell phone holder. They have like 30 slots and are only $15. I suggest that we make it so that the student's attendance to class is putting our cell phone in the designated cell phone pouch. If there are students who it's medically necessary that they put their phone in the, like they have access to their cell phone during class, then that's an exception that can be brought up with the administrators of that class. And if they don't have a phone, then they can be supplied with a placeholder so their attendance can still count. An ample punishment for not having your phone in the pouch would be not attending that class. So I think this is a way to have students be able to have their phones during passing periods, but not when but like they're not distractions during learning. And second, I would like to suggest a very important change to the governing of the district. A couple weeks ago, during a board meeting with the city of Happy Valley, one of you said, and I quote, "We're really proud that students are at the center of everything that we do, and yet there wasn't a single student in the room when you said that. We experienced the brutal truth firsthand in the 1700s that when the governed aren't a part of the governments, bad things can happen. So I find it absolutely necessary for there to be student representatives contributing to the process of many extremely impactful decisions made about them and their education in these board meetings, so that the students can flourish and not have thousands of dollars go down the drain because of the opinions of students that weren't accounted for."
Okay, well, thank you so much for your testimony, Nate. Very much noted for your feedback and your input. So thank you so much for being here and testifying.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So next up for public testimony, we have, hope I'm saying this name correctly. Is it Nomi Sarabia Feria? And I think I may have seen you earlier.
She is, I believe she's joining now, might be a minute.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. So, Naomi, welcome. Please say, so the clock will begin after you state your name, your city of residence or group, and then the clock will begin. So welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, my name is Noemi Sarabia Feria, and my family and I live in the historic Milwaukee area. My son also attends Milwaukee El Puente in the immersion program where he's a second grader. A little over a year ago, myself and two other parents started a green team at Milwaukee La Puente with the mission of bringing sustainability initiatives to our children's school. So far, we have planned 2 clothing swaps, one in April of last year and the other this last November. And this was done with 2 purposes. One, to help our local school community, and also to encourage and facilitate reuse of clothing, as the clothing industry requires the use of lots of resources, not only at the time of disposal, but also when the materials are being harvested to manufacture the clothing, during manufacturing, and of course during transportation. We also started collecting bottles and cans through the Bottle Drops Blue Bag program. And this action, again, not only benefits the school through fundraising, but it also encourages the circularity of valuable resources such as tin and aluminum used in cans. Through these sustainability actions, we are not only meeting the needs of Milwaukee La Puente's current students and families, but also ensuring that our children learn valuable lessons such as responsibly using resources, as to not compromise their own future, but also that of the future generations. This school year, we hope to expand the green team and also our sustainability initiatives. We are aware that we are not the only school that has parents and students working towards having a more sustainable school, but we are also aware that more needs to be done, and that requires the support of the school district. I am here to voice the need for a sustainability or climate action policy at the school district level. We have seen the terrible byproducts of climate change in our neighboring state of California in these latest wildfires. Our children hear and see what is going on in this world, and we as adults need to support our children by giving them hope, but also by demonstrating that we do care and that we are not leaving it up to them to come up with the solutions, but rather that we are here to work along their side. That is why, more than ever, it is imperative that North Clackamas School District adopt either a climate change or sustainability policy. In doing so, we would not only benefit the environment, but also our local community, as in the examples I have already provided. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Nomi. Okay, thank you everybody who have signed up to testify this evening. And now we will turn to our native land acknowledgement, and Director Bauer will lead the native land acknowledgement this evening.
Thank you, Chair Wei. We acknowledge the land on which we sit and which we call the North Clackamas School District. It rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Molalla, and Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn, work, and be a community on this land. We offer thanks for the original caretakers of this region, and we recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation that affected Indigenous and Native families, both past and present. Sorry, my screen went blank here a minute. And honor the resilience and revitalization of our Indigenous and Native communities. We pay our respects to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land throughout the generations.
Thank you, Director Bauer. And now we will go into the Pledge of Allegiance, and Director Dobson will be leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. And for everyone, please turn your cameras off.
Thank you, Chairway. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Director Dobson. And now we're going to move along on our agenda. So we have minutes from the January 16th, 2025 Board of Directors meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? And let's put your hands up. I know it's going to be a little tricky for me to see. Okay, Director I saw Director Wachter. Apologies. Okay, Director Wachter.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 25 meeting.
I think I see January 16th
Sorry,
on.
16th.
Oh, you're,
Apologies.
nope, it's okay. Thank you.
McVeigh, second.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion's been properly moved by Director Wachter and seconded by Director McVeigh. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. And all those that oppose, no? Okay, and the motion passes with a vote of 6. Is that correct? 6-0. Okay, thank you, board. And next up, we have another minutes for approval. So in the board packet, you will also find the minutes of the January 30th, 2025 joint session between the Happy Valley City Council and the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Director
McVeigh, move approval.
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Okay, McVeigh. Okay, so properly moved by Director McVeigh. Is there a second?
Bauer, second.
Okay, great. So motion is properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Bauer. Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, all those that oppose, please say no. Okay, and the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you, board. Next, we will find the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. The items on the consent agenda are employment changes, the Clackamas Education Service District Local Service Plan, and the charter school renewal requests. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? And please read all of the items included. Director Bauer.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes employment changes, Clackamas Education Service District Local Service Plan, and charter school renewal requests.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Wachter, second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved by Director Bauer and seconded by Director Wachter. And I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All- Okay, thank you. And all those that oppose, please say no. Okay, and the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Okay, thank you, board. We were able to get through the series of votes for the last 3 action items, so appreciate you all doing that. So we're going to move us along to the Youth Equity Advisory Committee report, and I believe we had a youth earlier say hi, and so we would like to welcome her and some of the youth voices back into the space. So welcome back. And I also would like to recognize our Chief of Student and Family Services, Dr. Kalia Williams Rodriguez, who will introduce our guests.
Excellent. Happy Thursday evening on this Thursday, February 13th. We are excited. Our students will come onto the screen to share a time where we can listen to student voices. We will have an opportunity to share a few points, and then I think we can share our screen in just a second so you can follow along with the student voices. All right. So tonight we have represented here, we have all of our high schools who are part of our school board student representatives. Tonight you will see we have Agency Nelson High School represented, Clackamas High School, Milwaukee High School, and New Urban High School. What we're going to share with you this evening is our purpose and our why. And we have an interest in making sure that our students' voices are seen, heard, valued, and they have contributions that impact the overall student experience and success. The Youth Equity Committee has been in motion for several years now, approximately 3. And we have some themes that we are interested in talking about throughout the entire school year. And here on the screen, you can see some of the topics that are of particular interest with our students. So I will pause to let you see those items. Without further ado, I will have the students introduce themselves, and we will start with the students at Nelson and then move on accordingly. So, Capri.
Hi, I'm Kibri, representing Agency Nelson High School.
Hi, I'm Melody, and I'm representing New Urban.
Hello, I'm Brittany, and I'm representing Clackamas.
Hello, I'm Gustavo, and I'm representing Milwaukee High School.
Some recent highlights for Agency Nelson High School is our unified basketball team has begun this month, and we have shown lots of support from varsity basketball boys and girls, along with students and teachers. Happy Valley Middle School and Agency Nelson's Black History Month Assembly is happening on the 21st, where people will be wearing their newly released BSU shirts, which brings me to the next topic, which is the BSU shirts that released this month were a big success. Lots of teachers and students were wearing it, along with the varsity basketball team wearing it to their most recent game.
Some highlights from New Urban are that the after-school clubs are going well, especially leadership. We get to talk to the principal directly about what's going on at our school. And we have been talking about how to maintain like healthy sexual health and like how to maintain healthy relationships in general. And we've just been focusing a lot on like building community.
A few things at Clackamas that are going well were our Indigenous Month trivia in November. It was a form that sent out to all students, and they have the opportunity to do this little trivia competition, and the winner would get prizes like candy and all sorts of other stuff. Another thing that happened not too long ago was our affinity potluck, where all of our affinity clubs came together, ate a lot of food, played some Jeopardy, and just got to hang out, celebrate each other. And another thing as well were our weekly videos or segments on our Instagram, like Wellness Wednesday, Senior Survey, and Favorite Friday.
Some things that went really well here at Milwaukee High School include our leadership programs really stepping up recently. In the holiday season, we had 2 separate events for charity, one of them being Mystery Mustang, where our student government donated food and toys to families in need. And then we also had a REAP toy drive, REAP being a leadership program here at Milwaukee High School. And they did a toy drive sponsored by KBW, and it went really well.
I've noticed some club officers and leaders have shown concern to me about not having enough club funding to support their current and potential club activities. Along with that, I've noticed there aren't enough adults supporting, activating, or just helping these clubs. An issue was brought to me by a student at Happy Valley Middle School pertaining to bullying. They stated that there have been issues where derogatory slurs and death threats were being used against other students.
Some things we could work on is maybe getting more funding for our library because our librarian has to like get books from her own pocket to keep the library going. And also some funding for our teachers as they also have to get stuff from their own pocket as well. And they're trying their best, but it gets kind of difficult. Some support for like students who are special needs, and also yeah, just like getting hall monitors and stuff like that just to make sure everything's going well.
Some challenges that CHS students have is that there's a lack of diverse staff at our school. Recently, our bookkeeper got a new job, and she was kind of the staple and the gap bridger between all of our communities. And her office was kind of used as that space where you could come in and be comfortable and speak your mind and connect with others. And it's been really hard for our students to really embrace who they are when they don't have that staff member to come talk to that have similar experiences as one another, who get what they're going through. And like, the staff at CHS is great. However, there are many things that I feel like I can't tell the staff because they can't relate to me. They don't have a similar background as me. So having my more diverse staff would make students feel a lot more comfortable sharing things that are going on in their house, online, with friends, etc. Another concern that students have at CHS is the lack of accountability towards staff members. When we expect students to be held accountable for their actions, we also expect staffs to be held accountable for their actions as well. Because when things like microaggressions become normalized within staff, it becomes normalized in students as well, because our staff are our role models. When we see that a staff member is doing something and we do the same thing, it doesn't allow students to recognize that what they're doing is wrong. And not only that, another concern is staff members don't really speak out much when students are being bullied or being mistreated. They kind of just let it go or sit on the sidelines and expect students to stand up for themselves.
Two of the largest issues here at Milwaukee High School include the vaping and addiction issues, along with understaffing. I know personally from with the vaping issues that we have tons of fire alarms that are simply just from vaping, and addiction to it is a really serious concern here. Along with that, it's really crucially understaffed. For example, getting a counselor appointment for something as simple as changing a class or getting into a class that you need can take maybe 1 to 2 months if you get really unlucky, or I've even seen up to 3 months just waiting for a counselor appointment.
The Unified Basketball Game and the BSU assemblies are just some of the events happening this month. A few adults came together to provide BSU with tickets to an NBA game to celebrate Black History Month. Another event happening is students going into their junior year have forecasting where they can pick their classes for the next year. And the College and Career Center at Adrian C. Nelson have been providing us with a lot of college and career events to help students navigate their future career path.
Our school is pretty small, so we don't have many like events, but we have an event at the end of the year and also at the beginning of the year where we celebrate our learning and like what we've done like during that semester, and just share our knowledge and like our experiences with our work.
At CHS, tomorrow we have our one act, which is directed by a senior. I'm actually unsure whether that's still going to happen or not, since schools will be closed tomorrow. But it's at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Hopefully people will be able to go. Another thing that's happening is our BSU assembly near the end of the month. I'm not entirely sure what day on the top of my head it is, but a lot of people get excited for it. So I'm also very excited for it as well. We also have our 8th grade showcase coming up next week, and as well as other performing arts, concerts.
At Milwaukee High School, a few of the events I'd like to highlight include the Ascension Fiesta, which is a district-wide event where Ascension, our Hispanic leadership program, is hosting a place for students to gather on February 21st. Along with that, the Milwaukee Academy of the Arts is hosting their spring play. It is a cover of the 12 Angry Jurors. And along with that, in March, student government will be doing Milwaukee Cares Week, which is a week long of charity, which will include canned food donations and other things like that.
Some suggestions I've heard from my fellow students when asking them this question are discarding the yonder pouches. They find that they don't find it useful. They don't think it supports their education, and it actually causes them to find alternative ways to entertain themselves, such as the school administrated Chromebooks. Another issue that I heard, or another suggestion that I heard specifically from an Happy Valley Middle School student, are better resources for harassment and bullying. They find that counselors, despite being advertised as mental health support, it seems more like just support for changing classes and schedules. A suggestion for that is having better mental health training for counselors or bringing in mental health experts. Another issue and suggestion is or I've already speak in length about this, but funding for clubs. Another issue is more funding for niche sports and more advertising for these same niche sports.
I'd say like more mental health support, like more counselors or school-based therapists, because our counselors are pretty like overworked, and we have a lot of students here who need a lot of support mentally and emotionally. And also, we tend to have like a disconnect with the admin and our students. So, just building better relationships in general would be helpful. Yeah.
A few ideas and suggestions I've heard from many students is having more healthier options during lunch, whether it's expanding our salad bar and getting rid of the prepackaged salads. They aren't really like, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but when you get one of those packages, you kind of taste everything in one. So if you're eating like a piece of lettuce, you'll taste the bell pepper and whatnot. And maybe having more variety of fruits instead of just apples and oranges. Another suggestion is replacing the old water fountains for the refillable water fountains. This will decrease the amount of time that students are outside of class and teachers are outside of class, because we only have two or three refillable water bottle stations. One in this cafeteria, and the other two are near the gym. Which, if you're in the other side of the school, you're out for like 5 or so minutes, and you're missing a lot, especially if you're a student who takes many AP classes. And speaking of students who take many AP classes, adding a study hall separately for AP students instead of just that general study hall class would help improve um, their academics, because they wouldn't have to be surrounded by many students who like to chat a lot. It'd be a more focused group in class.
Many of the suggestions that you've already heard are echoed in Milwaukee High School students. We absolutely want more nutritious lunches and more variety among them. Along with that, a mental health support system would indefinitely help a lot of our students who are struggling with mental health issues. Another suggestion that I've also heard would be to abolish the 10-10 rule, as many people feel like within the beginning of class, that is the best time to step out, do your business, and get back to class straight away instead of leaving in the middle of class, because people feel their learning is more disrupted that way. Along with that, I've also heard a lot of complaints about curriculum synchronicity, where just depending on the type of teacher you get, you can feel like you're in an almost entirely different class. So making sure the curriculum is much more in line with one another would work very well at Milwaukee High School.
Thank you. We are available for discussion.
Thank you so much. I'll just start off by saying, yeah, what a wonderful, insightful, helpful, all the adjectives, challenging, in many regards, right? To also hear of just the ways that we can continue to improve as a district to serve our students. And so, first off, I just want to appreciate all the youth for being here tonight, even if it's just virtually, just sharing your personal experiences and your stories about, just the many ways that you're impacted either positively or just, areas that you might be struggling, is really important for the board of directors directors to hear. And, I also want to say that, we're really here to keep youth voices, right, at the center of what we do in our decision making. And so I think just reflecting on your words, this is just a powerful reminder of why we need to sometimes as adults remind ourselves why it's so important to listen to student voice and listen to all of the experiences that you shared. So again, thank you so much for being here. I do have a couple of questions, and I'm sure some board members have some questions as well. But my question is really just I was taking down a lot of notes on particularly around the different suggestions that you all provided. And I know that some of the suggestions that you have provided are really sort of like more localized, like to your individual high school, whereas some others, can be sort of bigger policy changes that, can be up for consideration or discussion at a future time. So I'm kind of just wondering, and this might be a question for Dr. Williams Rodriguez, but where do you kind of see this group evolving just in terms of, just the feedback and the input that youth are providing?
During our time together, we've been looking at the survey data from the Youth Truth from the spring, and they're actually involved in the survey in the month of February. So we've been looking at some of these suggestions have come from the survey because the student voices have said mental health support is important and representation is important. And how do I continue to interrupt the microaggressions that are happening in our schools? So together, there's some other students involved in this committee, as you are aware, and we're trying to figure out how to provide some training across our district so that the student voices can be carried through.
Thank you so much. And yes, I mean, I have heard, as long as I've been on this board, just the continued need, right, for more counselors, more of the mental health support. It's so important. And I know that we have made some investments as a district to get more counselors, to get the support system, but it's just not enough. And so I want to just continue to, help pushing us to how we can do that, not only as a district, but I know that the state is also grappling with the same issue. And there was also some comments around just supporting teachers as well, and supporting teachers in addressing, things like microaggression, right, and just unpacking all of those really, really tough issues. And so hopefully we can all create a school environment that feels safe for everyone, but particularly for students who are feeling like, like they need action and they need additional support. So thank you again. And I wanted to turn to other board members if there's any questions or comments. Director McVeigh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't find my hand on this Zoom. It's like disappeared. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have a question. Do you all have a seat at the table when it comes to interacting with student government?
I can't speak for everyone on the committee, but I know that currently I'm senior class president at Milwaukee High School.
But if you weren't a senior class president, would you have a equal participation in student government?
Well, student government works in that it's supposed to be for people who are connected with the student body. So in a way, I think you can say that every student should have a hand in student government.
Okay, thanks.
I am also a part of my school student council. I am our environmental commissioner as of this year as well. I was also the equity commissioner last year, so I've been on student council for some time, all 4 years of my high school career.
I am not on student council, but I know people who are, and I know it's not like a democracy sort of thing. I don't really know how you can get on it. I think it's through student leadership, but I like being not on it. I don't have like action in these like votes and like discussions.
I think that's where my question was, like, do you have an equal voice, equal vote with student body, student government, bringing this committee's voice to kind of the practice of student body government? So that was my question. That was my answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, I think I see Director Wachter's hand and then Director Bauer.
Thank you, Chair. And wow, thank you, Student Voice. This was really, really well thought out, well prepared. Dr. Williams Rodriguez, you're doing a great job with these youth, and thank you for being here tonight, all of you. You guys are so articulate, so thoughtful, so intelligent around the kinds of questions and requests and experiences that you've shared. So just really, my heart is full from listening to you. And I wish we could have youth voice at every North Clackamas School Board meeting. So hopefully this is one of many times that we'll hear from our students this year. So looking over the kinds of things that you've shared tonight, I think they're all valuable. All the input is wonderful. I did pick out the theme of or repetition around counseling, wait times, behavioral health access, training for counselors, and more school-based therapy. And I can't think that that's an accident that three, I think, or four of you raised the same question around that. And I wonder if we could get some information around access times, wait times for our students to see school-based therapists. Is there, I see Jen here. I see several of you that probably could field this question really, really well. But our students have asked that question, and I think that that's a reasonable thing we should bring maybe some light around.
Yeah, we can reach out. We can have Barnaby work on that with our school-based folks. And I have already reached out to Principal Kellogg to have her talk to counselors to see what is going on. And she said she would be doing a deep dive to get information. So I will report back to folks to let you know what's going on.
Thank you. And Director Bauer?
Thank you, Chair Way. Yeah, I've been honored to be able to substitute and participate in the last few meetings that you had. And being there is an honor. Listening to you bravely speak up and speak your truth, and then doing that again tonight in front of all of us. So I learned a lot. I continue to learn. So I want to commend you for caring about your school community, caring about your district. And this is a way that we connect, and it is ongoing. And I what like Director Wachter was looking for, and I heard a lot of the same things on needing more staff and mental health, special ed funding. And I know some of you are going with us on Monday down to Salem, and I can't wait for you to tell your stories like you have in the past to our legislators. And I want to thank you again for reaching out, speaking up, and connecting with us. I don't have any questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Thank you so much. And thank you, staff, for leading these discussions. They're always so thoughtful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Bauer. Just wanting to see if there's any other board members who'd like to chime in or comment. But yeah, I just, again, thank you to this Youth Equity Committee for your leadership and for participating. And really, as Director Bauer mentioned, offering your voice and offering your stories, not only just to share, right, but to make sure that change happens, because that's why we're here, right? We're here to listen to you all, but we're also here in so many ways to take action and to make sure that what you're saying is is rooted in our policy making, is rooted in the decisions, right, that our administrators make, that are each and every one of our school staff make. And so I just want to say that we have a commitment to you all, and we have a commitment to this district and to the many communities that we serve to make sure that that we get this right, that you all are feeling supported in your education and in your success as learners. So thank you for reminding me as a board member of why all of this matters and why all of this is important. And I think we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. And I think we also have a lot of reflection, right, to continue to do as a district in ways that we are serving our students and supporting their overall well-being. So thank you again so much. Thank you again, Dr. Kalia Williams Rodriguez, for leading this group and for this presentation. And we are going to move along to our next agenda item. So just give me a second here while I switch back over to my screen. So next up, I would like to welcome the North Clackamas Education Association featured educator, and we have an NCEA representative, Erin Treese. So Erin, welcome, and they will be introducing our featured educator.
Thank you very much. Good evening, North Clackamas School Board. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce my friend and NCEA's February featured educator, Clackamas High School teacher Taylor Gibson. Here's what her coworkers have said about her. Taylor Gibson exemplifies the qualities of a truly exceptional educator, making her an outstanding candidate for the Featured Educator Award. As a third-year teacher, Taylor has already demonstrated a level of professionalism and expertise often seen in educators with decades of experience. Her commitment to our profession is evident in her tireless efforts to meet students where they are and adapting her teaching strategies to ensure every student has the opportunity to succeed. Taylor's ability to connect with students on an individual level fosters a classroom environment where all learners feel valued and supported. Beyond her classroom responsibilities, Taylor eagerly takes on volunteer opportunities that benefit the school community. Whether organizing events, leading initiatives, or mentoring colleagues, she approaches every task with enthusiasm and a collaborative spirit. Her openness to new ideas and willingness to work alongside others have made her a valued member of the team, enhancing the lives of students, families, and staff alike. Taylor also takes a pivotal role in activating union membership and engaging educators in the democratic process. Her leadership has inspired many to recognize the importance of collective action and advocacy for our profession. Taylor's dedication to strengthening our union ensures that educators' voices are heard and that our shared values are upheld. In all aspects of her work, Taylor embodies a spirit of service, collaboration, and innovation. Her contributions make her a vital part of our school community and a deserving recipient of this recognition. I'm very excited to introduce Taylor and give her an opportunity to share with you a bit of the work she does. Taylor?
Thank you, Erin. I am mortified, but I'll do my best. Good evening, everybody. My name is Taylor, and I'm a teacher at Clackamas High School. I teach world history, AVID, and college and career readiness to ninth graders. I love working at Clackamas High School with our wonderful teachers, our paraeducators, our custodial staff, and so many others. I also want to acknowledge my amazing principal, Alyssa Engel, who is a tireless advocate for students and staff, and I'm incredibly grateful to work with her. I'm honored to be recognized as the Featured Educator of the Month, though I strongly believe everything I do is connected to the work that other staff are doing. Tonight, I want to use this moment to talk about something far more important than my individual job. I want to use this opportunity to discuss our students and the future of social studies education. In our district, by the time students reach high school, they've had varying levels of access to social studies instruction. While our incredible teachers work hard to incorporate social studies into their classrooms, the current system places a strong emphasis on tested subjects like math and literacy, sometimes leaving limited time for history, geography, and civics. By strengthening social studies education at all grade levels, we can ensure that every student has the opportunity to build these essential skills and develop a deeper understanding of the world around them. But this isn't just about a lack of time or resources. This is happening at a moment when history itself is under attack. Across the country, we're seeing efforts to erase or sanitize the past, to restrict what can be taught, to turn history into a safe, oversimplified narrative instead of the complex, sometimes uncomfortable truth that it is. But history isn't supposed to make us comfortable. It's supposed to make us think. It's supposed to challenge us, and it's supposed to help us grow. That's why at this moment, we must not only protect social studies education, but we must expand it. We need ethnic studies classes so students can see the full, honest history of this country and the world, not just the parts that are easy to talk about. We need more geography so students can understand how global issues are interconnected and how they shape their daily lives. And we need more time and resources at the elementary, middle, and high school levels to ensure that social studies isn't just a subject students encounter in passing, but a foundation to their education. Social studies isn't about memorizing dates, places, and battles. We must equip students to engage with it, question it, and use it to build a better future. Because if we do not invest in social studies, we're not just failing our students, we're failing our democracy. Social studies doesn't teach history. It builds thinking, empathy, and compassion. It helps students understand perspectives different from their own, recognize injustice, and engage with the world in meaningful ways. If we want a generation that understands democracy, fights for justice, and leads with knowledge instead of fear, we must invest in social studies. It's not a luxury, and it's time we start treating that way. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, just powerful words, Taylor. Just thank you so much for just sharing your just your honesty and your passion and your courage in this space, and also just speaking your truth about why social studies matters, not only to you but to all students and to the community. So thank you so much. I also just want to echo the piece about ethnic studies, and like I remember when I was a student and just hardly saw stories that reflected my story or that of the communities that I belong to in the classroom. And I know that we've made a tremendous amount of progress here in Oregon, particularly among passing a lot of different legislation that teaches ethnic studies. And I'm just really proud that our district is continue to teach not only ethnic studies, but really keep social studies at the forefront of education and learning. So thank you. And I've also just written down some of your additional suggestions of why we can't go backwards and we must continue to move forward in this work. Thank you so much. Any other board members would like to comment or say anything? Director Wachter? Oh,
Yeah, I want to be thoughtful of our time tonight, but I just cannot not say great things about Ms. Gibson. I think she's extraordinarily passionate in the classroom about what she's teaching and can see the big picture of the kind of community that we want to live in involves investment into the foundation of history, social studies, and geography. So thank you so much. Two of my four kids have enjoyed Miss Gibson's classes immensely and think she's a fantastic teacher. And I know that's two of many that think the same thing. So thank you very, very much, Miss Gibson.
thank you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So next up on our agenda is our Public Schools Week proclamation, and we're going to set aside some time for each of our board members to read this really important proclamation that recognizes our amazing public education schools. And education system. So, Director McVeigh, I have you first, if you would like to begin.
Excellent, thank you. Public Schools Week proclamation assignments. I'll start out. Whereas robust public schools are the bedrock of our nation's social well-being, by strengthening public education, our nation is stronger. And
whereas American public schools are critical to the success of America's democracy, along with the success of state, national, and global economies, and
whereas over 17,000 students representing a diversity of demographics are enrolled in the North Clackamas School District, and
whereas National Public Schools Week has been scheduled for February 24 to 28, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
McVeigh, motion to approve.
Wachter, second.
Great, thank you. And is there a discussion? And for the discussion, I believe Director Dobson have a couple of comments that she'd like to share.
thank you, Chair. Yes, and I think again to echo Director Wachter, I'll keep it brief. But I do just want to say how incredibly important public schools have been to the making of what our country is today, to the leadership that that we're growing, right here in the state of Oregon, and all of the players that take part in making public education a success. So I just want to take a moment to express gratitude to the parents who help support our public education system, even when it can tend to be, overlooked and underfunded amidst the, many different crises that we face. To the students for showing up and working hard and giving their best effort, and also for staying hopeful in what the future, holds for them, even when things are tough. To our teachers who are tireless and never give up on our students, and to our administrators who try to make the whole system, run smoothly on shoestring budgets and Scotch tape, and to all of the volunteers that make, our public education system run every day. I think that everyone who serves on this board can agree that at the heart of public schools, and especially here in North Clackamas, is a desire to allow students to become whatever it is they want to be, to encourage their dreams, and to make sure that we give them, every opportunity to pursue them. I'm really honored to support public schools by being a part of this board and serving with you all. And I look forward very much to a time in the near future when our public schools are palaces, and our teachers paid like Fortune 500 executives, and our administrators are given complete freedom to fund and manage their districts to the best interests of their communities, and I will, strive to make that happen in my lifetime.
You're here. Thank you so much, Director Dobson. Just wonderfully said. Thank you so much for offering those just really powerful, moving comments. So the motion has been properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Wachter, and I now call for a vote on the motion. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those that oppose, please say no. And the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you, board. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors proclaims the week of February 24th through the 28th, 2025 as Public Schools Week in the North Clackamas School District, adopted this 13th day of February 2025. Yay! Thank you. Okay, moving along our agenda. We are on agenda number 4, and this is the 2025-2027 Integrated Grant Application for Student Success discussion. So this is a discussion item, and I would like to welcome back our Chief of Student and Family Services, Dr. Kalia Williams-Rodriguez, who will introduce our guests.
Yes, good evening. It is my pleasure to join alongside Director Jen Dove-Kiltow, who will share about the integrated grant application. This is a discussion item, and we are not seeking action at this time. Jen, are you ready?
I am. Hello, everybody. Let me share my screen. Can you all see it okay? I think we're okay. All right. Well, good evening. I am here tonight to present our integrated programs plan. You know what? It's not in slideshow mode. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So I'm here tonight to present our integrated programs plan for the 2025-2027 biennium. This plan outlines our district's priorities and strategic use of state grant funds, and we are seeking ultimately your approval to submit our application to the Oregon Department of Education. But again, tonight, this is up for discussion. Our district's plan is designed to ensure that every dollar of state grant funding is used to support our students and their success. It brings together multiple funding sources under a unified strategy to hopefully maximize the impact of those funds. And my purpose tonight is to share the priorities for the next biennium. And for that, within our plan, there are the unification of 9 different initiatives under a common framework. And the goal is to leverage the shared goals and the funding sources, again, so that our students are achieving to their maximum potential. This alignment embeds equity and best practices into every aspect of our approach in our system. A key component of our approach is engaging focal student groups who historically have been underserved. So students who have experienced disabilities, students of color, emerging bilingual students, and students who may be facing poverty and homelessness. And so by involving these students and their families in the planning, we work to ensure that our strategies are informed by their experiences, both their lived experiences at home, but also their lived experience in our schools. And you can see the 9 programs here, and I'll go through each of them briefly. But the ones on the bottom that start with high school success on down, those have dedicated funding, whereas the ones above high school success, those are expected to be embedded throughout our plan and all that we do within our district. So to give you a little bit of background, the move towards this integrated application was driven by feedback from educational leaders across the state, as well as our state legislators. Previously, schools and districts had to manage the fundings applications all separately. This was an attempt to streamline the process and reduce the redundancy in those application processes. So we write 1 4-year application, and then every 2 years we come back and relook at what our priorities are, ensure that we are on the right track, and then look at the reallocation of funds if necessary. So the plans contain like I said, 9 different programs. The continuous improvement planning, which is a process that involves educator collaboration, professional learning, in order to better our outcomes for our students. Everyday Matters, which is embedded again across all of the initiatives that we do and focuses on student engagement, school climate, and practices that are culturally sustainable. And then we also have our Career Connected Learning, which is a framework that ensures students have pathways to career readiness and are going to be set up for those industry expectations that will come at them after graduation. High school success is focused on increasing graduation rates and college and career readiness. We have the student investment account, which is designed to meet students' mental health and behavioral needs while also addressing academic disparities. The early indicator and intervention systems is all around data and how we as a system are looking at student data and then providing targeted support for students who are at risk. The Early Literacy Success Grant is funding specifically for our youngest and upcoming readers, birth through 3rd grade. We focus obviously on kindergarten through 3rd grade with the goal of helping to close early achievement gaps that may be occurring. We have career and technical education, which is expanding access to career training programs, again, to prepare students for their future in those high demand jobs that they may be looking into. And then finally, federal school improvement, which targets resources to schools who've been identified for additional support due to disparities in performance. So those are the 9 programs, all in one comprehensive plan. The development of our integrated plan follows a structure as outlined by the Oregon Department of Education. And you can see here all of the different pieces that go into that plan. So these are all requirements that we use, for example, our district equity lens, and that we have a community engagement as part of this plan, and that our focus is on our focal students and the impact that we will have on them with these investments. And so we've spent time working with our community and taking a really close look at what the plan that we originally created was, and if that will continue to meet the needs that we have as a district. So we have collected data in multiple ways, both from students, parents, and staff. Our Youth Truth Survey gives us a lot of information and informs a lot of what we do in regards to the spending of these grant funds. It really reflects the culture and climate of how our students and families are seeing the schools that they're in. We have focal student groups that we meet with. Our district does just such a nice job of ongoing community engagement that through all of these conversations and surveys and committee work, we're really able to listen with intentionality and put that input to good purposeful use within our plan. It really helps us to focus in and narrow in on what's most important. So these are the priorities that were part of our original plan 2 years ago as part of our 4-year plan, and they remain our priorities. Our community has continued to tell us that these 5 priorities, in no particular order here, are of utmost importance to them. So maintaining class size and caseload reduction, providing a well-rounded, equitable education where students see themselves in the staff curriculum and instructional practices, increasing academic achievement of students while reducing barriers and academic disparities for focal groups of students, supporting the behavioral and mental health needs of students, and providing ongoing and meaningful community engagement that's inclusive of culture and linguistics. They're very broad priorities, but you heard tonight from our students, they remain their priorities. They talked about many of these priorities just within their own experiences in the schools. And so we know that these things that they've identified, that our students are saying are important, they remain our goal and our focus. So the next few slides that I'm going to go through focus on the key investments that we're making in the different priority areas. And you'll notice on the left are our intended outcomes, and the key investments, which are on the right, they are the different ways that we'll accomplish those outcomes, that we're working towards those outcomes. In your board packet, you have a more comprehensive list of those investments, and you will see next to each priority an estimated amount that we will allocate to each of these priorities. And so for the first one, maintaining class size and caseload reduction, we are looking at an investment of around $7.6 million to maintain 47.75 FTE licensed teachers who've been assigned through a weighted formula. And so the focus through the student investment account for these particular staffing and investment, we're really focusing on schools from families who are navigating poverty, where students are receiving special education and English language development instruction, to again, really target those areas in order to provide that additional, maintain that additional support. Our next one is around providing a well-rounded, equitable education. We are looking at an investment of around $3.67 million. The purpose here is around professional development, supporting our teachers with culturally relevant teaching strategies, efforts to diversify our staff. You can see key investments there around professional development for our administrators, focus supports for college and career readiness. Throughout the slides, you'll see the word maintain on many of the key investments. We remain committed to our original 4-year plan, like I said, and our community, again, they continue to tell us that these are the areas that are important to them, and so we want to stay true to that commitment. So where it says maintain, these are things that we're already doing, and we want to continue doing. The next area is around academic achievement. We're looking at an investment of around $4.1 million. This supports things like after-school learning, summer learning programs, bilingual supports for our help desks. And then we also, again, focus on college and career supports to ensure our 9th graders are on track. We have a data dashboard that we are implementing and we want to continue implementing so that we can ensure that we're catching students before they fall behind. Here we have our priority standard around supporting the behavioral and mental health needs of students. We're looking at an estimated investment of $5.13 million, and that's to maintain school counselors. It's to continue our contracts with outside mental health services, maintain our social workers, maintain nursing services. Again, I go back to the students tonight that we're speaking about. I mean, this is heavy on them. They are wanting to have trusted adults in their buildings that can support them with their behavioral and mental health. And that's where some of this comes from. And so we will continue to look at ways that we can stretch these investments as far as possible to get our kiddos what they need. And then finally, we have our community engagement and providing ongoing and meaningful community engagement. So we have our engagement specialists for our focal groups. And we have wanting to make sure that programs such as Juntos continues at our high schools, and that community engagement is two-way and ongoing. We do use a tiered planning approach. And so in your board packet, you'll see on the very last page of your outcomes and key investments that there are additional FTE activities, costs that we can fluidly move into our plan if perhaps some of these other key investments come in under budget, or if we find that we're unable to hire for certain positions, and we want to make sure that we spend those funds down. So it just allows us to not have to go back to the Oregon Department of Education every time we want to make a change. So it's some thinking for the future that provides us to easily move within our plan. The integrated guidance from ODE offers a performance framework that our work is reviewed through, and that includes a mixture of outcome measures, programmatic and financial reporting, and the opportunity for us to use local optional metrics beyond what they require us to do. And so once they review and approve our plan, they will partner with us. And this is a requirement of the student investment account legislation to further co-develop and finalize growth targets for us as a district. So we will set we will look at historical data and then set data based on how we've performed in the past, and set those growth targets, and then they'll come alongside us and finalize those. In the future, I will come back to you, the board, to review those targets, talk about them, and then they would be approved as part of our grant agreement. So each application undergoes a very thorough evaluation process, and once it's finally approved by ODE, we would get our grant agreements and come back to you. We're just in this first part where you see the little sunshine we are here, where you would look at our budget, look at our proposed budget, look at our plan, make approval on that. We would then submit it to ODE, and they would then review it. And they have a committee called the QALP, the Quality Assurance Learning Panel, that is composed of community members that read through those and ensure that we've hit all of the requirements. And then again, at the end, we come back to you and share our grant agreements with you for final approval. So in closing, thank you for your time, for your commitment to our students, as always. And I welcome any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Jen. Really, really thorough. I see Director McVeigh's hand up.
Thanks, Jen. Always great presentation. Remind me again what year we are. Is this going into our fourth year?
We're going into the second biennium. So this year is our second year, and then next school year will be the third year of a 4-year plan.
Right, but we've had these monies for how many consecutive years?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, since 2019, I believe.
Okay. So you mentioned a dashboard. So is that dashboard getting close to being finalized for measurable outcomes that we've to see that, because it takes a long time to turn a big ship, right? And so so we can start really looking at where money's being spent, is it outcomes we wanted, and understanding that for every dollar you spend is an immediate result. So it takes time, but just wondering over time, can we, and maybe we've seen it, but it's not coming to my mind on a dashboard that shows from 19 going forward, um,
Sure.
the outcomes that we've hoped to have achieved, besides attendance and graduation rate, some of the other measurable outcomes?
Yeah, so we use there's 5 metrics from ODE that we use for the purpose of this plan, and specifically for the student investment account. And so we do use graduation, both 4 and 5 year graduation rates, third grade reading. It is that in and of itself is not on a dashboard that you would necessarily see. I'm happy to give you that, and I will have to report that information to you. It's on a it's in a database that we keep with ODE. We also have a database that we use as a district and that we've been using that schools have access to, but that is different than what we use for measuring our plan. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, there's just a lot of rhetoric out there that Oregon schools aren't achieving what they need to be achieving, and I know our schools, North Clackamas, is doing great work, and I know our results are amazing. And so I'm just trying to how we can let the public know that their dollars they're spent wisely and we're getting results without falling victim into, again, the rhetoric that's out there that we're the worst in the nation, Oregon is, and whatnot. So I don't know how to solve that. It just kind of hurts my heart when we are victimized, and yes, in a sense that we're failing our students, and no, we're not doing that. So I don't, any sort of dashboard that the public can get to might be helpful.
Sure. I would be happy to share specifically with you all the measures as it pertains to this, to our plan and the investments we've made in our plan. I also, our school report cards are available on the school websites and the district websites. And we also have ODE has come out. I believe the state has a new dashboard that is available to the public that I could get you some information on.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all those dashboards. I'm just wondering if someone that goes onto our website that wants to see the quality of our schools, and even if there's embedded links in those dashboards where they could get to places. That's my concern. We'll be going to a bond here shortly. And I just want the community to be well informed about all the good work. That's all.
Director McVeigh, one of the things that superintendents across the state talk about is one of the accountability measures is the Smarter Balance Assessment. And when you look at other states that take the Smarter Balance Assessment, their legislators have not created an opt-out option. And in Oregon, our legislators have created an opt-out option. So it's really difficult for us to be held accountable for smarter balance accountability, while on the other hand, there is an opt-out that creates an issue there. And when you look at some school districts, I was just talking to the superintendent in Eugene, he can never get more than 17% of his student body to take the test. And so there's some natural inequities that happen with who takes the test, whether the test is finished, how that's counted, how it's not. And so we're really not playing with apples to apples as we look at other states in terms of those accountability, in terms of that accountability. So I do think that that's one important thing to point out, along with many other things I won't get into, but that's an important piece.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions, Director McVeigh. Director Bauer, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chair Wei. I'll just follow up a little bit on your question, Director McVeigh. It's my understanding too that we get, some questions about graduation, and our graduation rate is increasing, but again, it's hard to compare to other states because we have some higher requirements than some other states. So we have to be careful of the data that we're looking at. And also, I'm so glad the superintendent James brought up, the testing, because that opt-out is a big impact. And we only do it at certain grades. I know personally, my granddaughter in first grade is reading very well. And we've added with the new literacy that the early indicator and the literacy success that we've had, it takes a while to see that come and happen. So those are just some comments that I've been learning about. But I did want to ask, thank you for this report. It's an enormous amount of work. Every time I go through it, I learn more, or I forgot something. And it's just a good reminder too of the work that you put in and the enormous amount of community input, but you're hearing some of the same things. The kids said it, it's here. And I look at the amount of money that we had for 25-26, and the amount that you're estimating for 26-27 is the same. So just to make that clear, that's just an estimate right now of what we might get. We don't know. Is that correct?
Correct. Up until 4:15 today, and I did have a little giggle about this because I felt bad coming to you with these estimates because they hadn't released projected allocations. At 4:15 today, I got an email with those projections. And so I will tell you, I glanced very quickly at them. So I'm not going to say any numbers because I don't have them well versed yet. They're very similar in numbers. We didn't get a big boost in allocation, and so there. I would not expect that, especially with costs go up from year to year, that I think that I'm planning on things staying pretty much the same. Something would have to change drastically for us to be able to, with these particular funds, make any big moves.
That is unfortunate because we know that we heard staffing, mental health, all of that, class sizes, that's important and that costs money. So I also have concerns that some of this money is federal source and some of that we're uncertain about. Just roughly what percent of these programs is federal?
Well, as of right now, the federal school improvement funds are the non-state funds. And so those are funds that are for targeted specific schools. Student investment account is state funded, high school success state funded. So we're pretty that shouldn't change.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Just one last question. Are you facing new barriers in communication or that you see new barriers for our students that are struggling or hearing of these new barriers?
What I'm not hearing isn't new. What I'm hearing is perhaps in some cases an intensity that's changed, but not necessarily new. Our students are definitely saying mental health supports, and they are saying they have a continued desire for staff that that they can connect with, that look like them, that sound like them, that reflect them and their diverse needs. And again, you heard some of that tonight. But gosh, we have kids who are willing to voice their thoughts and opinions, and we're grateful for that too, because to be able to hear it from them and go to them and talk with them is an honor. And I think I know our plan reflects their voices. I also want to say that we, as a district, do a great job of really stretching these dollars and making them work for our kids. And anytime I'm, talking with Dr. James about how we can make some moves, and she's very thoughtful about where these funds are placed, and the biggest impact they have on our students. And so, again, I really feel like the right people are listening to our students and their families and our teachers, and that's reflected in our plan.
Well, thank you for all that information, and thank you for your passion for this work. Appreciate it.
Can I just ask, Jen, with Director Bauer asking some of the challenges, can you talk just a little bit about the challenges around, we used to be able to carry over our budget, and now with some of the new constraints around having to use the funds by certain times, and how that's changed with legislative
Sure.
ruling?
Yeah.
That's helpful to understand.
Yeah, specifically, I'll talk about the student investment account. The funds there, we used to be able to have until September 30th to spend down, and now we have a spend down date of June 30th, June 30th, June 31st. And so that really shortens the amount of time that we have, and really makes us have to shift how we're going to uh, plan for summer, plan for some of the things that we know that, the staffing that we need to hire, and making sure that we're spending those funds, those monies down by a certain date. And so it takes a lot of the flexibility that we once had by being able to kind of bridge the July 1st date to the September 30th date between the two fiscal years. That that is difficult. Yeah, and we're just experiencing that for the first time this year. That just changed, and so we're planning to spend it all down by June 30th, so that we can start July 1st with the next year.
Just curious, why was that change made? Do you know?
I don't know all the details. I'd be happy to dig into it for you, but I don't know the details to that.
I'll ask Monday.
Yeah, I do know it had to do with a law. And I know that the Oregon Department of Education did go to our legislators and asked what could be done in terms of, passing a bill so that that could be rectified. And I don't think that that was a priority that was able to be fixed. And so, I do think that that would be a good question. It really makes it difficult for us to be able to plan for summer school and some of the other things that we need to do. We're doing it, but it makes it difficult. Takes the flexibility out, as she said.
Thank you.
You. Director Kemp, did you want to share anything? I think you saw you on unmute, so I just wanted to ask. Okay, maybe not. I'm not sure if, oh, okay, there we go. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for this presentation. I think my questions that I had primarily, Director Bauer asked, were super helpful. And so I understand that this is a part of SIA 2019, the student investment account that passed. That's why the legislature required school districts via ODE to have a more integrated approach, right? So this is kind of why we're kind of packaging things this way. I do want to emphasize, because I was also looking at like the continued theme of like, we're just maintaining, and we're not adding. And I just want to double check. So that's really the result of just that our hands being tied because of the SIA funding. Is that right? So it's not like, so it's not because we don't want to add, right, more counselors or obviously more FTE, but that is just the amount that has been dedicated to our district.
Correct.
The SIA. And so the state is essentially saying like, this is all we have the designated funds for, and we can't ask for an increase.
Yeah, so we get our allocations based on the taxes that are procured, and so that's then divided amongst the districts, and that hasn't. We've seen a slight increase over the years with SIA, but high school success has gone down a little bit. And so when we look at it, yes, we're integrating all of these, but we also have to tease apart the different grants and funding sources. So yeah, unfortunately, we would love to add more, but this does allow us to maintain. And so in that regard, yeah, we're not adding, but we're also not having to take away at this point.
Okay.
Again, with these specific funds, right? Which is just a very small part of our overall budget.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. There's so many different funding sources and streams, and thank you for the reminder. This is just one piece of our larger overall budget that we have as a district. So thank you. Great. And thank you again. Very, very thorough presentation. And this is a discussion item, so we will be taking action on this at a future board meeting. So I'm going to continue to move us along here and keeping track of time. We have a couple more things to get through this evening. So next up, we have a 2025-2026 school calendar, and this is a discussion item. And this is the 2025-2026 calendar for the elementary and the middle and high school levels. So I would like to welcome our Assistant Superintendent of Education, Dr. Yvonne Dibley.
Chair Wei, thank you so much. Directors, as Chair Wei said, this is a discussion item for the 25-26 school calendar. We'll be seeking action at the next board meeting. This originates per our policy IC and ICA, which holds the responsibility that we must approve the school year calendar on a yearly basis, and also shows that we provide the minimum number of instructional hours. So those are assured. As far as the budget impact, it reflects the full school year at all three levels, and it's also aligned to our contract with NCEA, which fulfills the 193 contract hours. As part of the process, we look and analyze all the priorities and conflicting considerations. But what we try to do is we want to make sure that there is an alignment of non-contact days K-12. We also look at higher education and other school districts' calendars. We look at information regarding cultural and religious holidays. We also try to ensure that we have as many full 5-day weeks of instruction as possible. And with that, we also look at the alignment of day ones and day twos among the middle school and high school levels. We look and ensure that we have instructional hours that meet and exceed state requirements and are compliant with our labor associations. Prior to presenting this calendar to you, we have a feedback meeting where we have our associations, we have administration representation, and we share our thoughts as we created the calendar. We actually look back at the last time that the year actually had basically the same dates, and it's almost the same start and end date for us. So it really keeps consistency. And we look at the feedback and we decide, are we going to change something, or are we going to keep it and bring forward like the best calendar possible? New this year, and as a product of our previous bargaining sessions, we had a group of cross employees that met to review multiple calendar considerations. So they studied various calendar configurations that exist not only in Oregon, but nationwide. They discussed the advantages and disadvantages. They looked at the complexities and the tensions that rise within thinking of those complexities. And here we are with this year's calendar. So it's good that our group looked at other areas and learned from others, and continued with their recommendation. Upon your approval, the calendars will be shared broadly with the school district in our community. And I know that this was brought up last year when we did this, and that is the consideration for different holidays and multicultural events that are particular and important to our community. And those are always shared with our administrators. So should they have events, they should carefully plan around those. And with that, I have Doctors Aaron and Callan, Executive Directors of Elementary and Secondary Programs with me this evening, and they're available should you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Board, do we have any questions for the upcoming school year calendar? That was very thorough, thank you. And I know that there's several attachments for all of the grade levels in our board packet. And so really, really good information. I do have a quick question, and I know that it's come up, and so hopefully not a surprising question, but what do we do to accommodate for school days that are impacted by inclement weather? And I know we as a district, I mean, there's flexibility involved, and obviously, days that inclement weather, we just can't operate. So what do we do? How do we sort of forecast for that when we're creating new calendars?
Well, there are additional days that are within the calendar that account for inclement weather days. Our chief of staff is very diligent in ensuring that we are summarizing what our hours are. So she provides that summary of our instructional hours at every level. So with any inclement weather day, she says, here's the number of instructional hours that we have to reduce, and our calendar always exceeds the minimum. So the priority in what we're ensuring with bringing it forward is that it does meet the minimum hours. However, we always exceed the number, and it's not until we actually run out of those hours that exceed that we go into the inclement weather days that are already padded in the calendar. So after today's or after this week's event, our chief of staff will be providing us with here's where we are with the instructional hours, and that's what we meticulously look at as we continue to plan.
Great, that's excellent. Thank you. I know that's top of mind sometimes for many parents, and as well as our teachers and our educators as they're thinking about planning and scheduling. So thank you. Great. Well, we are going to go ahead and move on to our next agenda item if there aren't any other questions from the board. So we are at agenda item 6. So this is a revision to the 2024-2025 organizational resolution. And now I'd like to welcome our Executive Director of Business and Finances Services, Matt McCara.
Good evening. Tonight I bring forward a revision to our annual organizational resolution for discussion and action. This revision specifically updates the designation of the district's independent auditors from Polly Rogers & Co. to Clear Trails CPAs. Clear Trails is a newly created firm staffed by the same partner, manager, and team from Polly Rogers that have conducted our audit for the past 3 years. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So did we do an RFP for that, or was that unnecessary?
It was unnecessary. There was some consideration of the market of firms that are available to do this work, and it is not a very deep market.
Okay.
This was given the circumstances, and this was the best choice for the district. It was felt.
And Matt, have we used this firm before? Are they located locally? What kind of relationship do we have with them in the
This
past?
is actually the partner, the manager, and the team are the same that have conducted our audit for the past 3 years. They've just moved out of Polly Rogers to create a different firm. So it maintains consistency.
Thank you. This is also a discussion and an action item, so I just want to flag that for the board, and still open for questions if we have any for Matt this evening. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions for you, Matt. Thank you so much, and we can also move forward with having you come back for official action on this at a future board meeting.
We don't want to do it tonight.
Oh, unless unless there is a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
the 24-25 organizational resolution.
Bowers, second.
Okay, great. Well, that's great. Thanks everyone. So it's properly moved by Director McVeigh, seconded by Director Bauer. So I will now go ahead and call a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, and all those that oppose, no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you. And thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have, we're close to the finish line here. We have agenda item 7, and this is the dedication of right-of-way for the property to the city of Happy Valley. And I now welcome our Chief of Operations, Teresa Neff Webster.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I'm here for this discussion and action item to adopt the resolution to dedicate to the City of Happy Valley right-of-way for the 162nd Avenue at Scouters Mountain Elementary School. So the background on this was that the district's portion of 162nd Avenue was committed under the capital projects for 2016. The street has now been constructed and is ready to be handed over to the city. So the dedication will allow for the City of Happy Valley to transfer responsibility for future maintenance and operations. There is no budgetary expense or issue around this item as well. And I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Teresa. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Bowers, second.
Okay, thank you. So the motion's been properly moved by Director Wachter and seconded by Director Bauer. Is there additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those that oppose, please say no. Okay, and the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you, board. And next on the agenda is the dedication of the utility easement property to the city of Happy Valley. I welcome again Chief of Operations, Teresa Neff Webster.
Thank you, Chair. Again, with the same property, this is a discussion and action item to allow the adoption of a resolution to dedicate to the City of Happy Valley a utility easement for the 162nd Avenue at Scouters Mountain Elementary School. The district has constructed our portion of 162nd Avenue and needs to dedicate the utility easement to the City of Happy Valley, and they will now take ownership of the utility as well. And I welcome any questions.
Thank you again. Is there a discussion or questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve this resolution? Director Bauer?
Chair Way, I move to adopt a resolution to dedicate the city of Happy Valley a utility easement for 162nd Avenue at Scouters Mountain Elementary School.
Is there a second?
Director Dobson, second.
Okay, thank you. So properly moved by Director Bauer and seconded by Director Dobson. Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those that oppose, please say no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you, board. Moving on to agenda item 9. This is the construction bid award for the Rex Putnam High School chiller replacement project. And I welcome again our Chief of Operations, Teresa F. Webster.
Everyone loves operations at the end of a board meeting. Thank you, Chair. I will say with this item and the next item, I wanted to name that we have made the determination to move forward with both a roof repair and a chiller installation to be scheduled this summer to avoid potential rework and maximize our efficiency. So in order to coordinate the projects, we're ensuring that the roof penetration that is needed for the chiller project does not encumber and create damage to the roof itself. And when we'll have both of these projects done, we'll be able to have the new chiller and a properly sealed roof, which will enhance our energy efficiency and our long-term use of both spaces. So in that regard, I'll start with the Putnam High School chiller replacement project. And we are asking to approve the award of the Rex Putnam chiller replacement project to Hines Mechanical Industries for a sum not to exceed $476,326. We'll be using capital funds for this project. We are still waiting for the Energy Trust of Oregon and Energy 350 to let us know if we have been awarded any funds. We do not have a determination yet or the amount. I will let the board know once we do have that determination. The chiller has been deemed past its life cycle and is in failure space, which means that our facilities department uses Band-Aids to do quick repairs as needed, but it's needed to, a full replacement is needed for this. The team did do a publicly solicited bid for complete replacement of the chiller. There were 4 bids that were received, and Hines Mechanical Industry Incorporated was deemed the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Construction is scheduled to begin July 2025, and substantial completion is August 29th, 2025. And I will turn back for any questions.
Thank you so much. Director Bauer?
I just had a basic question. Would you explain what a chiller is and that it's not air conditioning for the whole school? I was told maybe that wasn't it.
Yep. So chiller, it's yes, specific terminology. So a chiller is a specific unit that chills specific areas. So they're sectioned off in our buildings. And so in this specific instance, this chiller will be chilling the gymnasium and administrative offices. And then it is not a comprehensive HVAC space for the entire property.
So, and it's equitable to what we have in other schools, correct?
Correct. It is the same standard that we have in our other schools.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
McVeigh move approval to award Rex Putnam chiller replacement project to Hines Mechanical Industries for the sum not to exceed $476,326.
Walker, second.
Thank you. Properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Wachter. Is there additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, this is a roll. I will call a roll call on this motion since there is money involved in the motion. So please say yes or no. Director Bauer?
Aye.
Director Dobson?
Aye.
Director Kemp?
Aye.
Director McVeigh?
Aye.
Director Wachter?
Aye.
And Director Way votes aye. The motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you, board. And we are, I believe, at our last agenda item for this evening. So welcoming again our Chief of Operations, Teresa Neff Webster, to talk about the construction bid award for the Rex Putnam High School roof repair project.
Thank you so much, Chair. So finally, we'll be talking about awarding the Rex Putnam Roof Repair Project to McDonald and Weddle Incorporated for a sum not to exceed $488,125. We'll be using capital funds for this project. The background on this project is that in 2018, there was a professional roof consulting analysis done, and it was determined at that time that the roof should be replaced in 2020. It is 2025, and we are currently in multiple stages of repair in the roof. I happened to be there on a rainy day, and it was in stark contrast to what we would like our roof to be. So we would like to move forward to include this whole scope of removing the entire roof and the membrane and creating a brand new roof and flashing and ensuring that it's watertight and resistant moving forward. The team did do a public solicit for bids. There were two bids that received that were responsive, and the McDonald and Weddle bid was determined to be the winner of the contract. The construction is supposed to start in June 2025 and will end in August 29th, 2025. And I will turn back for any questions.
Thank you so much. Any questions by the board?
McVeigh, move approval of awarding the Rex Putnam Roof Repair Project McDonald and Weddle Inc. for a sum not to exceed $488,125.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Bauer,
Director
second.
Walker, second.
Oh, okay. I heard Mitzi. We'll go with Mitzi. Thank you. So properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Bauer. Is there additional discussion? Okay, again, board, this is there's money involved in this motion, so I will call for a roll call on the motion. Please say yes or no. Director Bauer?
Aye.
Director Dobson?
Aye.
Director Kemp? Director Kemp, are you there? Okay, he looks frozen on my screen, so we'll come back to him. Director McVeigh?
Aye.
Director Wachter?
Aye.
Director Way, I vote aye, and we'll go back to Director
Aye.
Kemp. Oh, great. Perfect.
Aye.
Okay, we gotcha. Thank you. So the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. And that concludes all of the agenda and action items for this evening. I just want to leave us with just a coat, also a coat since it's chilly outside, but a quote for us to think about as we just passed the proclamation for the end of February being Public Schools Week. So I leave you with this quote. Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. So thank you all for investing in our public education and for just creating a better world for everyone. And that quote is by Marian Wright Edelman. With that being said, it is now 8:28 p.m. and I now adjourn this meeting of the North Clackamas School Board of Directors. It is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you.
warm.